Do you ever feel a quiet sense of emptiness? A feeling of disconnection? Like you're on the outside of your own life, looking in? Many men walk through the world feeling exactly this way, never realizing the root of it might go all the way back to their childhood. It's often not the bad things that happen to you, but what didn't happen. The quiet, invisible reality of childhood emotional neglect, or SEN. It's what happens when a parent or caregiver doesn't respond enough to a child's emotional needs. For boys who are so often told big boys don't cry or to man up, this teaches them to push their feelings down. They learn to survive by building a wall around their own emotions. In this video, we're going to pull back the curtain on the 8 hidden effects of childhood emotional neglect and show how it secretly shapes a man's life, from his health to his relationships. By the end, you'll have a much clearer picture of your own story and the steps you can take toward a more connected and fulfilling life. This isn't about blaming anyone, it's about finding clarity, because understanding the wound is always the first step toward healing it. Section 1. Emotional numbness and alexithymia. The first, and maybe the most foundational, effect of emotional neglect on men is a deep sense of emotional numbness. This isn't just being stoic, it's a pattern that can contribute to a trait called alexithymia, which literally means no words for emotions. While it can have various causes, it's strongly associated with SEN. When a boy's feelings are consistently ignored, he learns to suppress them to fit in. He builds an internal wall to block off emotions that were treated as a problem. As an adult, this man struggles to know what he's feeling. Ask him how he is, and the answer is almost always fine or okay, because he genuinely doesn't have the words for his inner world. If you catch yourself answering, "I'm fine," but feeling nothing inside, this might be you. This emotional blind spot leaves him disconnected from himself, unable to use his feelings as a guide. It can feel like navigating life without a compass. Section 2. A pervasive sense of emptiness and isolation. The second hidden effect is a chronic feeling of emptiness. Men with a history of emotional neglect often talk about feeling hollow, like a key ingredient is missing from their lives. This emptiness is the ghost of the emotional connection they never received. Even in a crowded room, he feels like an outsider. From the outside, it might look like strong independence, a man who doesn't need anyone. But on the inside, it's a painful loneliness. The emotional magnet that pulls people together has been walled off, leaving him feeling unseen and disconnected. This isn't a flaw. It's a direct result of having his emotional self ignored when it mattered most. Section 3. Low self-esteem and a harsh inner critic. The third effect is chronically low self-esteem paired with a relentless inner critic. When a child's emotions aren't validated, they don't just learn that their feelings are wrong, they internalize the message that they are wrong. This can breed deep-seated feelings of inadequacy. As an adult, this man often becomes a perfectionist, constantly trying to prove his worth through what he does because he lacks an innate sense of it. He might be incredibly sensitive to criticism because it feels like proof of his deepest fear that he is fundamentally flawed. This usually shows up as him judging himself far more harshly than he would ever judge someone else, creating a constant inner voice telling him he's not good enough. Compliments can feel strange, and asking for help can feel impossible because, deep down, he doesn't believe he's worthy of either. Pause for a second. Which of these have you noticed in yourself? Section 4. Internalizing emotions, especially anger. The fourth effect is the tendency to turn emotions inward, which then often seeps out as bottled up anger or irritability. Society generally gives men very few acceptable emotions to express. Anger is sometimes okay where sadness is not. For the emotionally neglected man, who learned early on that his feelings were a burden, bottling them up is second nature. But those feelings don't disappear, they just get pushed down. This can create a man who seems irritable all the time, has a short fuse, or has sudden bursts of anger that seem way out of proportion to the situation. It's not that he's an angry person, but rather a person with a lifetime of unexpressed feelings that have nowhere to go but sideways. Section 5. Avoidance and emotional withdrawal. Next up is a powerful pattern of avoidance and emotional withdrawal. For a man who learned in childhood that emotions were dangerous or led to rejection, the safest bet is to retreat. When he's faced with emotional conversations, conflict, or a partner's intense feelings, his gut instinct is to escape. This isn't because he doesn't care. It's a deeply ingrained defense mechanism. This withdrawal can look like burying himself in work, spending all his free time on hobbies, or just going quiet and distant. He creates distance to avoid the discomfort of feelings he never learned how to handle. This protects him in the moment, but it comes at a high cost, often creating even more distance in his relationships and preventing any real problems from ever getting solved. Section 6. Increased risk of mental health disorders. The sixth hidden effect is a much higher vulnerability to mental health challenges. Childhood emotional neglect is a significant risk factor for depression and anxiety disorders in adulthood. Living in a state of emotional numbness and disconnection is incredibly distressing. Those persistent feelings of emptiness, low self-worth, and isolation are fertile ground for depression. And when you can't recognize and process your own emotions, everyday stressors can feel completely overwhelming, leading to chronic anxiety. To cope with all this inner turmoil, many men turn to unhealthy coping mechanisms like alcohol or other substances to try and self-medicate the pain. Now let's talk about where this really hurts the most for many men: relationships. Section 7. Severe relationship and intimacy issues. The seventh effect is the devastating impact emotional neglect has on relationships and intimacy. Emotions are the currency of connection. When a man is cut off from his own, he can't fully connect with others. In romantic relationships, this can be especially tough. A partner may feel unloved or unseen, reading his emotional unavailability as a lack of care. He may struggle to empathize with his partner or offer comfort, not because he's malicious, but because he simply doesn't have the tools. This can create a painful cycle of misunderstanding and loneliness within the relationship. The fear of being vulnerable can also stop him from ever truly opening up, making it almost impossible to build the deep trust and closeness that real intimacy requires. He may even sabotage good relationships to avoid the perceived threat of getting too close. Section 8. Externalizing risks and poor impulse control. The final hidden effect involves externalizing behaviors and poor impulse control. While many emotionally neglected men turn their pain inward, for some, the lack of emotional regulation skills can manifest outwardly. This lack of self-soothing ability has been linked to a greater likelihood of engaging in reckless behaviors later in life, often driven by poor emotional regulation and social rejection. Without the ability to manage intense feelings in a healthy way, some men may act out impulsively. If you hear your own story in these 8 effects, the most important thing to know is that you are not alone, and you are not broken. These are survival patterns that helped you get through a childhood where your needs weren't met. But the same wall you built to protect yourself is likely the very thing now standing between you and the connected, fulfilling life you deserve. Healing is possible, and it starts with awareness. The first step is to just start practicing noticing your feelings. You can do this by journaling or just pausing during the day to ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? This helps rebuild the emotional skills you never got to develop. Second, think about seeking professional help. Therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy can give you a safe space to explore these wounds and learn healthier ways to cope. A good therapist can help you learn the emotional language you missed out on. Finally, build your support system. Challenge that old belief that you have to handle everything alone. Let the people who love you actually support you, and practice sharing what you're feeling in safe relationships. Real strength isn't about having no emotions, it's about having the courage to feel them. The journey of healing from emotional neglect is really a path back to yourself. If this video hit home for you, please consider subscribing for more content on mental health and growth. And if you're comfortable, share one thing you learned about yourself in the comments. Your story could be the sign that someone else has been waiting for to start their own journey. Thanks for watching.